Hello, welcome to the seventh of my quizzes that I've put on YouTube. It's nice to have some nice peace in this room. I've just been watching BBC News for the last hour, and it's nice to be in a silent room now and not hear someone else chuntering on, just to hear my voice chuntering on. Hopefully you'll appreciate that too. I should announce the winners of last week's quiz. I've just realised that I've got them written down over here. Before I do, if there's anything you want to say to me, please put it in the chat, which is, I'm actually wrong finger, over there. And I can tell you from over here that the winning team, I'll give a shout out to the oldies who got 18 out of 40. But the winning team this week was... No! Their team name was No. They got 31 out of 40. Well done to them. Yes, so we've got 4 rounds as ever for you this week. And if you want to write down your answers, that's probably the best thing to do. You should put them on, you might want to type them. That might be a better idea because it means you can copy and paste later on if you want to submit your answers, and I'll give you the instructions on how to submit them at the end. So, without further ado, let's get started with round 1. Round 1, as ever, is a general knowledge warm-up round. There will be 10 questions, and just got to answer them. That's just how this goes. So, just adjust my camera slightly, which I should have done before I started, but oh well. So question 1. Who has been the General Secretary of the Communist Party of China since November 2012? Who has been the General Secretary of the Communist Party of China since November 2012? This week's drink is tea. I hope you're all enjoying your bank holiday weekend, by the way. I've, of course, been staying in, as indeed I'm sure most of you have. Yeah. It's changed life a bit, this coronavirus, hasn't it? Changed all the topics of small talk. I suppose we can still talk about the weather. Question 2. What Greek prefix meaning foreign or strange can precede phobia to refer to a form of prejudice, hyla to refer to a genus of frogs, and morph to refer to the antagonist of the Alien film series? What Greek prefix can precede... what Greek prefix meaning foreign or strange can precede phobia to refer to a form of prejudice, hyla to refer to a genus of frogs, and morph to refer to the antagonist of the Alien film series? Sorry, I shouldn't really put my elbow on the table during this quiz. That's not a good look. I'll just adjust my camera to the right angle. Where do I want it? There we go. Can't get the staff. Question 3. Which office technology company in 2010 ran adverts asking customers not to use its name as a verb for to photocopy, fearing the loss of its trademark? Which office technology company in 2010 ran adverts asking customers not to use its name as a verb for to photocopy, fearing the loss of its trademark? Question 4. What is the commonly used name for the anxiety medication alprazolam? It is referenced in the title of a song by Billie Eilish from her debut album. What is the commonly used name for the anxiety medication alprazolam? It is referenced in the title of a song by Billie Eilish from her debut album. It's probably referenced in the lyrics of the song too, but I didn't check that. Really should do all this adjusting lighting and camera before I start. When I have my own, televised quiz series, I guess somebody will do that for me. Question 5. What is the surname of Charles Francis, the founder of the X-Men in Marvel Comics? What is the surname of Charles Francis, the founder of the X-Men in Marvel Comics? Question 6. Which fantasy TV series, originally shown from 1995 to 2001 and set in a version of ancient Greece, features Lucy Lawless as a reformed villain? I suppose Lawless is as good a name as any for a villain, isn't it? Which fantasy TV series, originally shown from 1995 to 2001 and set in a version of ancient Greece, features Lucy Lawless as a reformed villain? Question 7. What word does the poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge use in his poem Kubla Khan to refer to the summer palace of the eponymous emperor? What word does the poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge use in his poem Kubla Khan to refer to the summer palace of the eponymous emperor? It is an alternate name for this palace. I think it's not the most commonly used one these days. Question 8. Along with phloem, what is one of the two main types of transport tissue in plants? Roughly speaking, it transports water from the nutrients of the plant. That's not what I meant to write. It transports water from the roots of the... Right, okay. Along with phloem, what is one of the two main types of transport tissue in plants? Roughly speaking, it transports water and nutrients from the roots of the plant to the leaves. Along with phloem, what is one of the two main types of transport tissue in plants? Roughly speaking, it transports water and nutrients from the roots of the plant to the leaves. I originally this was just going to say water from the roots to the leaves, and I thought maybe that's too vague, and what if we have any botanists watching and they want to complain about the way I described this particular type of tissue, and so I changed it. Maybe I should just assume that I'm not going to have any botanists watching, and just let it go. Question 9 is not question 9. This isn't going well. I'm going to give you question 10 first while I figure out what on earth's going on. What abbreviated form of his forename... Oh dear. This is not going well, is it? Okay. Let me just fix question 9. I can only fix it while the wrong one's up, which is not ideal. Thank you. Maybe I'll edit that out afterwards. What two-letter word permitted in Scrabble refers to 1/100th of a dong, the Vietnamese unit of currency? What two-letter word permitted in Scrabble refers to 1/100th of a dong, the Vietnamese unit of currency? Yeah, this is the latest I've put together a quiz. I wrote most of these questions today. Normally I've written them a few days in advance, but it's a bank holiday, so I figured I could put it off. And yeah, that was possibly a mistake. Question 10. Okay, so Of course, there's a redundant word here. What abbreviated form of his forename does the comedian and pointless presenter Armstrong use most commonly? What abbreviated form of his forename does the comedian and pointless presenter Armstrong use most commonly? It's a good job I don't pre-record these, because I just want to keep going back and fixing it and editing it together, and this would take hours. Maybe afterwards I'll cut out that bit where it all went wrong and put a fade in somewhere. Alright, round 2. So round 2 I actually prepared last week, but I swapped it out for the Eurovision round, because I felt like we needed a Eurovision round. So round 2 is about film characters. What I want to know is which film contains these characters. That's it. I'm going to use 3 characters for each film, and I can tell you every film that's going to appear here won Best Picture at the Academy Awards, and that might be relevant in some cases, because sometimes the same characters might have appeared in more than one film. So yes, I haven't actually read these questions, apart from question 9, which I just showed you. I haven't read these questions in about a week, so we'll see how this goes. Round 2, question 1. Bill Sikes, Jack Dawkins, Noah Claypole. Bill Sikes, Jack Dawkins, Noah Claypole. That is the correct spelling of Sykes, incidentally, which I didn't realise until relatively recently. It's not the Y. Question 2. Rick Blaine, Ilsa Lunt, and Victor Laszlo. Rick Blaine, Ilsa Lunt, and Victor Laszlo. Question 3. Vito Corleone, Hyman Roth, and Pat Geary. Vito Corleone, Hyman Roth, and Pat Geary. Oh dear. I shouldn't really yawn on camera either. Question 4. William Bligh, Fletcher Christian, and Joseph Banks. William Bligh, Fletcher Christian, and Joseph Banks. Question 5. Oh dear. Antonio Salieri, Emanuele Schikaneder, and Caterina Cavalieri. Antonio Salieri, Emanuele Schikaneder, and Caterina Cavalieri. But all these films won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Question 6. Georges Valentin, or George Valentin, or however you want to pronounce that, Pepe Miller, and Al Zimmer. Georges Valentin, Pepe Miller, and Al Zimmer. Question number 7. Hoke Colburn, Daisy Worthen, or Werton, and Miss McClatchy. Hoke or Hoke Colburn, Daisy Worthen or Werton, Miss McClatchy. I'm going to claim that I'm pronouncing these in different ways so as not to give you any hints, as opposed to that I actually don't know how to pronounce them. As you'll see, reading out the questions is going to become really fun in round 3. Question 8. Ray Babbitt, Charlie Babbitt, and Sally Dibbs. Ray Babbitt, Charlie Babbitt, and Sally Dibbs. If you do get all the films, you play bingo to see how many of them you have actually seen. Write them in like a, I don't know, pick 9 of them, write them in a 3x3 grid to see if you get a line. You've got to have ways to amuse yourself in this, right? Question 9. Paul Boymer, Stanislaus Kaczynski, and Franz Kemmerich. Paul or Powell Boymer, Stanislaus Kaczynski, and Franz Kemmerich. And finally, let's go for question number 10. Ankarad Morgan, Gwilym Morgan, and Hugh Morgan. Ankarad Morgan, Gwilym Morgan, and Hugh Morgan. Like I said, all of these won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. So we're going to move on to round 3 in a sec, and you're going to see why I'm going to have a lot of fun reading out these questions, because it's an emoji round. So in this round, I'm going to include the surname of a US president in emoji. So these can be puns, these can be plays on words. There's lots of different things. Hopefully they are ultimately unambiguous, but if you have a good justification for an answer that's different from the one I've got, I guess I will have to award the points. So yes, all of these are surnames of US presidents. I just want to tell you just tell me which surname applies. Obviously there are a few sets of surnames that have been held by more than one president. In that case, it doesn't, you don't need to tell me the president, just the surname. So yes. If you have any questions and you're watching live, ask me in the chat. But let's move on. So I'm going to have to try and read these out. You're also going to notice that the background's going to switch from black to white. Sorry if that's disconcerting, but emoji don't display well on dark backgrounds. So question 1, we've got a picture of a sort of polo shirt maybe, and then some blue trousers, maybe jeans, then some brown like patched socks, and then a bar of soap with some soap bubbles, and then some weighing scales. I'm not going to read this out twice. This is, as ever, the hard round. Or the sort of lateral thinking-y round. You know, it's where I tend to have things like a sequences round. I might go back and do another one of those. I've never done a connections round, but they're the hardest round to think of, really. So question 2, we've got a white letter O inside a red square. And then we've got a couple of steins of beer being clinked together. And then a wine glass with red wine in it. And then a sort of cocktail glass with like an olive on a stick in it. And then we've got a woman and 2 children, a boy and a girl, with her. Possibly this would have been better clued by after the O having a little symbol of a building of some sort. Just an extra hint there. As in a building, building, beer, wine, and so on. Question 3, so we've got like a box with a tick mark in it. I don't know why I'm drawing the symbol out for you, because you can... Got a box with a tick mark in it, like a sort of checkbox on a web form, say. And then we've got a little blue square with a pictogram of a man inside. Sort of male symbol like you might find on a lavatory. Does anyone still say lavatory? Question 4 then. This one is not question 4. No, it is question 4. This, despite what it may say on the screen, that is question 4. I've just typed the wrong number. But this is question 4. And it is just a picture of a sort of tree, maybe. A sort of round plant with a trunk and lots of leaves in a sort of circle. Like a kind of deciduous plant, maybe. Up to you how to interpret it. So yes, this is question 4, despite what it says on the screen there. I wonder if I can correct that. I can't correct it, but I might be able to... go. Oh, it's white though. Don't have any ability to change the colour of this, unless I'm missing something. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Do you know what? I don't care. Don't care. We need to move on. Question 5. So this is a picture of a sort of ginger-ish cat, maybe. Maybe some white markings. Just walking from right to left. That's it. That's the only picture. So this really is question 5. Please tell me which president this might represent. Just the surname. I'm not encoding any of the forenames. It's really hard to do forenames. A lot of them are just themselves. They don't really clue very well. They don't sound like a lot of things. So this one really is question number 5 in this round, the halfway question. In this round, of course, more than halfway through the quiz. But let's do question 6 now. So question 6 is just some chains. There's sort of adjacent to each other, slightly offset, and there's maybe 3 loops or links or whatever you call them on the right hand side, and no, there's sort of 3 and 1 cut off on both sides actually. 1 cut off, or 2 cut off, 1 at top and bottom. Just giving you these details in case any of them might be relevant. It's interesting doing quiz like because I've done these types of rounds in quizzes since over different periods of Unicode releases of emoji, and they get progressively easier as Unicode decide that they're going to include more and more emoji in the set of things you can use. Question 7 then. So we've got like a carved pumpkin with light coming out. You can't see what's inside, but there seems to be light coming out of it. Carved with a sort of smiley face, a Halloweeny face with a green stalk. And then we've got another family. We've got what looks like a man. Well, it's a man and a woman, and their child, who's a boy, I think. Yeah. Okay. A little bit longer on this. Then how about question 8? So question 8 is a bit hard to see for me, this one, but it's a sort of, it's like a box, like a Polaroid photo maybe, with a blue sky and a red bridge, looks about like the Golden Gate Bridge, and the sort of cloud or mist or fog or something in front of the bridge, obscuring the bridge from view from about halfway down the photo. That's it, just the one emoji for this one. And then question number 9. So for this one, we've got 2 emoji. We've got a woman in sort of, it's not really clear what she's wearing, but something relatively smart, like a sort of smart jacket or cardigan. And then next to her is a spool of thread. Blue thread with sort of the spool itself is made of relatively light wood. And there you go. And I'm sure you'll be relieved to know that question 10 is the last question in this round as ever, and we are there. So we've got a plus sign, and then we've got the letter M in white on a blue circle, repeated 3 times. So we've got a black plus sign, and then 3 blue circles with white letters M inside them. And that's it. So, I hope you've enjoyed this round. It's hopefully guessable at least. Even if you put something down that doesn't relate to the emoji as far as you can tell, because there are only about 40 possible answers, accounting for duplicate names. So, we're on to our theme round, round 4, and I get to actually read out questions again instead of trying to describe some little pictures, which is much better. So round 4 is a theme round as ever, and this round is a round on banks, and I chose this theme because of course today is a bank holiday. That is the only connection I have for this round. So round 4, question 1. In which Italian city was founded a bank that could be considered the oldest in the world, dating from 1472, missing word there, sorry, dating from 1472, though founded in its current form in 1624. The other contender is Berenberg Bank, founded in Hamburg, so we're not looking for that one. In which Italian city was founded a bank that could be considered the oldest in the world, dating from 1472, though founded in its current form in 1624. The other contender is Berenberg Bank, founded in Hamburg. The problem with writing this question, if you're going to pick either of them, is that they both have a claim to be the oldest bank in the world, because they are both currently banks. But the one I'm looking for was founded earlier as something, but became a modern recognisable bank later, and between those 2 dates, Berenberg Bank was founded as a modern recognisable bank. I think Berenberg is also not a retail bank, so I think you could say that the bank I'm looking for is the oldest retail bank in the world. Berenberg is more of an investment or merchant bank. Question 2. As of 2019, which country is home to the 4 largest banks in the world, ranked by their total assets? So, as of 2019, which country is home to the 4 largest banks in the world, ranked by their total assets? So this answer changes if you do it by market capitalisation, which I'm not totally sure what that means. But I think, yes, certainly when you rank by how much capital the banks have, all 4 of the top ones are in the same country. And I want to know which country. So question 3, moving more directly onto the bank holidays theme, the first 4 bank holidays to be introduced in England and Wales, brought in 1871, were Easter Monday, the first Monday in August, Boxing Day, and the Monday after which religious observance? The first 4 bank holidays to be introduced in England and Wales, brought in 1871, were Easter Monday, the first Monday in August, Boxing Day, and the Monday after which religious observance? So you might be wondering, why not Christmas Day? Why not Good Friday? Those were considered customary days of rest, and so it wasn't considered necessary to introduce a separate bank holiday for them. And I think that position is still true in law. I don't think they're separately defined, at least in England and Wales. Yes, the bank holidays were brought in because it was customary for businesses to close on certain public holidays, but for certain technical reasons, banks needed to be open to be able to carry out certain functions that had to be done on a particular day, and so couldn't send their staff home. So it was brought into law that banks were in fact allowed to close on these days. Question 4. In London, Bank Tube Station, outside the Bank of England, is connected by escalator to which other tube station? In London, Bank Tube Station, outside the Bank of England, is connected by escalator to which other tube station? Oh dear. Question 5. In cue sports, such as snooker, what distinguishes a bank shot from a kick shot? Both involve balls rebounding from cushions. So in cue sports such as snooker, what distinguishes a bank shot from a kick shot? Both involve balls rebounding from cushions. There's also a bank shot in basketball, which is when the ball rebounds from the backboard and then goes into the basket. But I couldn't think of a question about that. Question 6. The main telescope at the Jodrell Bank Observatory in Cheshire, completed in 1957, is named after which astronomer who was involved in its construction? The main telescope at the Jodrell Bank Observatory in Cheshire, completed in 1957, is named after which astronomer who was involved in its construction? It wasn't named that right from the start. It acquired that name in the 80s, I think, in his honour. It's really tough using this as a mirror because it obviously doesn't reflect, because it needs to show what you see, unlike, say, a Zoom call or whatever, because it needs to show the correct interaction between the video and the question, and things might be off to one side. But I can't use it as a mirror because everything is back to front. That's why I often point the wrong way and have to remember. When I'm pointing at the chat, which as ever you should feel free to use, is that way. There we go. Question 7. In Paris, the Rive Gauche, or left bank of the Seine, is home to what was the main building of the University of Paris until its division in 1970. What is this building called? In Paris, the Rive Gauche, or left bank of the Seine, is home to what was the main building of the University of Paris until its division in 1970. So it's the division of the university, not of the building. What is this building called? I've actually been to this building. It's normally closed to the public, but yes, we happen to be in Paris on one of the 2 days in the year that it actually opens, like the Heritage Open Days. So I've been inside. It's pretty fancy. It's still a sort of central building for various universities in Paris that descend from the original. Round 4, question 8. What are the forenames of the Banks children in the film Mary Poppins? What are the forenames of the Banks children in the film Mary Poppins? It's the original, not the sequel. Those Banks children do in fact appear in the sequel, but as adults. Recommend the sequel, by the way. Very good film. Saw it 3 times in the cinema. I would say I would go see it again, but probably not in these circumstances. Question 9. Which 1990s TV show gave the first on-screen role to the actress and model Tyra Banks? Which 1990s TV show gave the first on-screen role to the actress and model Tyra Banks? That's her first on-screen role, not somehow the first on-screen role in the show. I've never seen the show, but I know its theme tune very well. And finally, round 4, question 10. Banks are places where people store money. Which 2 settlements are referenced in the ABBA song Money, Money, Money? Banks are places where people store money. Which 2 settlements are referenced in the ABBA song Money, Money, Money? And that's it. Those are this week's 40 questions. So, as ever, I hope you've enjoyed. I now need to tell you how to submit your answers. So, if you just joined us and you want to go back and watch the rest of the quiz, and if you've just joined us, you've missed most of it, but you can just watch the video from the start. If you've caught some of it, again, the video will stay up. You can go right back to the start and watch the questions you missed. And if you go to www.alexquiz.fun/submit, you'll find a form where you can submit your answers. The deadline to do so is midnight at the end of tomorrow, which is the 26th of May 2020. So if you're watching this after that deadline, feel free to submit, but it will just confuse me and I won't count your answers. You should also put a team name in there. The team name I will read out in the next video if you win. So that was it. That was quiz number 7. It's hard to believe I've done 7 of these, which means that it's been 6 weeks since the first one, which is mildly terrifying. Yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed, as usual. If you haven't, feel free to send a complaint letter to the email address that is provided on my website, www.alexquiz.fun. If you have enjoyed it, however, I'd love it if you would press that like button that's somewhere down there. If you click the subscribe button as well, and then the little bell, remember the little bell, that will give you notifications about when I put a quiz up. I try and put them, make the stream file a couple of days beforehand, and that usually doesn't work, but usually at least several hours beforehand, but I'm normally here at 5:30 on a Monday at this point, so anyway, I'll give you that little reminder. Feel free to comment below if you've got anything to say. The chat will close as the stream closes, but the comments will stay open. I do try and reply to them. In the meantime, stay safe, stay alert, control the virus, and save lives. And I will see you later. Have a great week.